This is Jen, and I make useful English lit study videos on Shakespeare, poetry, fiction, literary devices, and more. So today's video is going to be a bit of an oddball, but if you've clicked into this, you're probably intrigued enough to find out more. So basically, we are still reading Macbeth, which a lot of you are studying, and it's a text that's practically done to death. But we're going to read it from the lens of environmental literary criticism, i.e. ecocriticism. Eco what? I know, Shakespeare and the environment may not seem like the most obvious combination, but the beauty of literature is its relevance to everything in the human world, which of course includes the environment. Do you guys like my sunflower? Now, not only is the environment a key concern for our world today, it's also a highly topical area of discussion that's growing in prominence across all fields of study, including literary scholarship. So in the next few minutes, I will be explaining what ecocriticism is and what it means in the context of reading Macbeth. And then we'll move on to explore 3 ecocritical ideas in the play. So if you're looking for a creative take on Macbeth that's a bit off the beaten track, then make sure you watch till the very end of this video to get all of my top grade analysis. There are 2 ways of understanding the term ecocriticism. As a literary movement which began in the 1960s alongside modern environmental activism, largely in the United States, ecocriticism refers to a branch of literary scholarship which studies the way texts reveal human impact on the natural environment. Another way of looking at it is an approach to literary criticism, in which case ecocriticism would refer to the reading of a text with a specific focus on the relationship between humans and the environment, specifically on the environmental issues presented in a text. Now, these issues would include climate change, extreme weather, atmospheric pollution, etc., etc. Basically, some of the most pressing environmental challenges faced by humanity today. Now, it may seem odd, almost anachronistic, to read a Jacobean play like Macbeth as an eco-critic, given that environmentalism wasn't really a thing back in Renaissance England, as Industrial Revolution hadn't yet set in to coat entire cities in black factory smoke, and capitalist materialism hadn't yet reached its heyday to encourage rampant, wasteful consumerism. But that's kind of the point. As literary critics, we should be able to take any angle, apply it to any text, and come up with rewarding insights. It's also a great way to give classical works modern relevance, and for us to refresh interpretations of Shakespeare in a creative light. In fact, if we pay close attention to the play, we'll see all sorts of environmental topics lurking in the shadows of the acts, as they assume the form of symbolism, foreshadowing, and analogy to shed light on the play's ideas and characters, which we'll go on to explore right now. Now, traditionally, we think of the witches as symbols of evil, and if you haven't watched my other videos on the supernatural in Macbeth and the witches' key quotations, then you can check them out here. But from an environmental standpoint, it's possible to see the witches as a manifestation of atmospheric pollution. Consider, for instance, the lines at the very start of the play. Fair is foul, foul is fair, hover through the fog and filthy air. On the most basic level, the witch's presence is what causes the filthy air. As a source of contamination, they not only dirty the atmosphere, but as they are on the heath to meet Macbeth, we understand that their pollution extends also to the mind, as Macbeth's thoughts will soon be polluted with their evil supernatural solicitings. Macbeth is aware of this, actually, as we see from his comments to Lennox in Act 4, Scene 1, when the witches vanish without a trace after showing him all the horrible apparitions. As he says, "Infected be the air whereon they ride, and damned all those that trust them." Now, Macbeth's awareness of the witches' contamination is ironic, because by damning all those that trust them, he's essentially damning himself, because he's a prime example of one who has been infected by poisonous and murderous desires. So much so that now he can't even realise he's fallen into the witch's polluting trap. So we see then that the air pollution created by the witches is all permeating, tainting the external particles of the heath's environment while muddying the internal synapses of the protagonist's mind. And this isn't unlike the nature of real air pollution, because we know that an unhealthy environment is often a primary cause of physical ailments, mental illnesses, and cognitive dysfunction. By the way guys, I'd massively appreciate it if you could hit the thumbs up button below, subscribe to my channel, and switch on that bell notification if you find this video helpful so far. This would really help me carry on making these useful English Lit study videos so that you can get top grades in the subject and we can inspire more people to enjoy the study of literature. Notice the stage cues that come on whenever the witches appear, which are indicated as thunder and lightning. While weather is a common trope for writers to indicate mood, it's especially interesting to view this from an environmental perspective, as sudden and frequent thunderstorms are often a key symptom of extreme weather. Throughout the play, thunder functions to introduce the witches, from the very opening of the play in Act 1 Scene 1 and Act 1 Scene 3, through to Acts 3 and 4, when the witches begin to stir up their concoction of double trouble, as we can see in the following moments. Now, on the one hand, extreme weather serves as a foreshadowing of disaster through its association with the witches. But alternatively, if we consider thunder as a climatic anomaly and a disruptive force in nature, we could also see it as a parallel to Macbeth's anomalous, illegitimate identity in the rightful line of kings, and his disruptive regicide and murders which have shaken the incumbent social order. So, while it's probably a bit of a stretch to say that Shakespeare was sounding off environmental alarm bells back in the early 1600s, by associating unpleasant weather phenomena with catastrophic supernatural forces, he was probably already onto something about the outsized, destructive impact that irregular weather patterns could bring to humanity. Now, our final idea for this video may sound a bit surprising, but hear me out. Recall the way Macbeth is defeated in the final act. Malcolm, Macduff, and their troops uproot the trees of Birnam Wood as they advance towards Macbeth's fort at Dunsinane Hill. This is essentially an act of deforestation. And the fact that this collective logging has led to Macbeth's defeat suggests the incredibly destructive power of deforestation. So just as Macbeth is naive about what women are capable of in childbirth, so he is ignorant of what humans are capable of doing to nature, as when he scoffs after hearing the third apparition's prophecy that Macbeth shall never vanquished be until great Birnam Wood to high Dunsinane Hill shall come against him. As he says, "That will never be who can impress the forest, bid the tree unfix his earthbound root." And indeed, Macbeth will soon be proven wrong when Malcolm commands, "Let every soldier hew him down a bough and bear it before him. Thereby shall we shadow the numbers of our host and make discovery in report of us." So he's talking about using all the trees that they have uprooted from Birnam Wood to hide themselves as they advance towards Macbeth's fort. But on the flip side, clearing forests also helps with new production and resource utilization. So towards the end of the play, these hewed down boughs could be viewed as a symbolic heralding of a new reign and a rejuvenation of rightful kingship, of removing the infected weeds that are Macbeth's illegitimate ambition and restoring Malcolm's legitimate succession to the throne. And there you go, guys. I hope this video shows that even for something that's been studied to death, like Macbeth, we can always look for new and creative ways to read a text and come up with refreshing and relevant insights. I'd love to hear your own eco-critical analysis on the play, so please drop your thoughts in the comments section below. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and as always, if you found this video at all helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and switch on the bell notification so that you never miss a top grade English Lit study video from me. And make sure that you check out my playlist on Macbeth and Shakespeare, and I'll see you guys very soon.